This is the original eSport racing game. This is iRacing.
From Mid-Ohio, it's the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 8 coverage of the PRL GTE Sportscar Series. This and two more before the Season 16 champion is crowned. With a 24-point cushion and 29 drop points in his pocket, if the field is going to close the gap to point leader Carl Moda, they better start today. Unusual to have a team race tighter than a driver race, but that is indeed what we have. SRT North, powered by Sean Macbeth and Dan Rivetto, has a mere 7-point lead on Mondeff and his Kokomoda Clear teammate Corey Clark. The Porsches, Ferraris, BMWs, and Fords are already warming up on the track, and when it's time to go racing, you can see it all from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. Filling in for Joe Peak, I'm Bill Soupzon, joined way up in the press box to bring you our Bird's Eye View by Nick Schmeg. John Crackers Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras, locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. All right, Nick, we go to Mid-Ohio. This is a pretty place to go. Tell us a little bit about the racetrack.
Yeah, no problem, Bill. Unfortunately, here tonight, the real-world rubber that was burnt this past weekend here from IMSA does not transfer into the virtual world. But fortunately, the laser-scanned Mid-Ohio Sportscar course does. This is one of my personal favorite road courses in North America just because it combines so many great and unique things. It's tight and twisty and only 2.25 miles or 3.6 kilometers, and it still manages to produce the need for both speed and finesse, showcasing a bit of elevation change as well. The first turn is similar to that of turn 1 at Sebring, a deceivingly fast left-hander that throws you down into the keyhole hairpin. That launches you onto the backstretch where you're tossed into the Buckeye State Hills through China Beach and the S's, where awareness and a steady pair of hands is key. The last few of these 13 turns include the never-ending carousel and are nothing to joke about either. While those 13 turns present a lot of passing zones on the track, the snug sections of this track also have a tendency to wreak a lot of havoc. It's a little bit of a roller coaster ride around here, so take those motion sickness pills and fasten your seatbelts. Allow me to send you down to the track as you hop on board for the GSRC Lap Guide.
All right, we've got Reed Miller in the GSRC 4 GT, so let's do a lap around Mid-Ohio. Down the front stretch, turn 1 immediately throws you a challenge. This is a fast corner where if something goes wrong, you'll be sailing off into the gravel very quickly. It'll be important to make sure you get a good run off of here because it's an uphill climb all the way to the next braking zone at the keyhole. This is the first of very few good chances to pass someone on this short lap. If you can't get it done here though, it's much better to square up your exit off this hairpin. That's because it's the longest acceleration zone of the track on your way down the backstretch. Get yourself a decent run on your opponent and it's much easier to simply overtake them in a straight line. If that doesn't happen, eventually you reach China Beach and you can try to outbrake them. But it's a challenge no matter which side you choose. The track immediately switches back into madness, so you can see passes made to the right or the left. Now you're into the more technical portion of the lap, and you can expect the racing to be mostly single file. You need a bit of patience on the throttle until the S's, but as soon as you weave through those, you're easing the car into the awkward braking for the jump. It's hard enough going in, but the crest coming off requires you to be gentle on the throttle as well. Now you fly through Thunder Valley, where you've got to hold as close to the Armco on the right as you dare. You need that space to give you the widest angle possible into 11. There's no time to relax because this all ends with the carousel. Late apexing this never-ending turn will be important because you're not lifting your right foot until the first corner again. But hopefully you've now finished a lap around Mid-Ohio.
Joe Peak may not be with us here live, but we do have the pleasure of his disembodied voice taking us around road, where are we here? Mid-Ohio. Here we go. Now, as always, today's race is brought to you thanks to SimMSA. The Simulation MotorSports Association is a sim racing platform created by experienced racers, established in 2015, and supported by the International Sim Racing Federation. The association is bringing together organizations and communities to further promote sim racing globally. Concentrating on all sims worldwide, they offer a focused opportunity for sim racers to compete with each other. They also provide consultancy services to this growing esports world. SimMSA offers solutions for racing simulator equipment and custom-built simulation parts, as well as complete customization and upgrading of existing simulators. You can find them all at SIMMSA.net. We have one more. Today's broadcast is also proudly sponsored by Frazier Deeter, nationally recognized PCAOB registered CPA and advisory firm, headquarters in Atlanta, with thousands of clients globally. It provides a wide range of services, including tax, audit, advisory, internal controls, and transaction support to achieve each client's unique financial goals. With offices in Alpharetta, Atlanta, hey, Las Vegas. If you have some casino losses, you can talk to them and see about getting those deducted off your taxes. Stay on script, Soup. Nashville, Tampa. Frazier Deeter has consistently been named the best of the best CPA firm by Inside Public Accounting and is ranked among the top 60 largest CPA firms in the United States. You can find them at FrazierDeeter.com. All right, all the bookwork is out of the way. Now let's have some fun and take a look at the points. Nick?
Well, the bookwork is out of the way, but it's a little bit of math over here in the standings with just a couple races left in the season winding down. The driver points are there. Karl Modoff, his 3 wins this year have put him up at the top, 201 points. And you see he's got 29 drop points as well. Those are going to definitely come into effect late in the season, just in case these guys have a bad race. Sean McBeth, the only other driver besides Karl Modoff to finish in the top 5 every single race so far. 7 top 5s for each of them. So that's pretty amazing that they've had that. But the difference is Sean McBeth has yet to get a win this year, opposed to Karl Modoff's 3. A little further down, Andres Espinosa remains in 3rd, 12 points back from Sean McBeth. Dan Revito has jumped into the top 5, and he's actually jumped into the top 4. He's 70 points back, though, and then tied for 5th, Christian Eisler and Zach Hefner both have a win from earlier in the season. And as you mentioned, Bill, the points in the teams championships are a little bit tighter, especially up towards the top of things here. Speedworks Racing Team North, Sean McBeth and Dan Revito carry that team only 7 points above Kokomoto Clark Racing Team, though. Karl Modoff and Corey Clark, who has been further down in the middle of the pack this year to try to, combine those points with Karl Modoff's and his 3 wins. Speedworks Racing Team East and West sit there in 3rd and 4th. A big gap between them and an even further gap between the SRT Team West and Team Bushfink Racing, who remains in 5th.
Checking the points right now to see if there's a SimWorks South team. There didn't make it if there were. Come on, you guys in the South, let's get going. Hey, let's take a look at the race details for today. Again, round 8, this one and 2 more to go. You see the cars that are racing. 45 minutes. It's a timed race, 1 pit stop. The setups are open. There's restricted fuel, so we need to make those stops, and there is a 24 incident cap. Hopefully that won't come into play. All right. Now we can focus our attention from all of that to what's going on the track. Qualifying going on right now. No surprise to see who's on top there. It's Karl Modoff.
Absolutely, and he's got a 0.4 of a second gap right now over Abner Acosta, who is in 2nd. Acosta, remember, last week stealing that win late in the race after Karl Modoff dominated much of the event there at Road America. Acosta definitely wants to take that momentum and put it forward today.
We look at our overall points leader and our fastest qualifier right now. There's Rodrigo Munoz, well down the order, hoping to do a little bit better. Large field here, 28 cars. 27 have put in qualifying times. Here's the South American driver, Christian Eisler, the Iceman.
Yeah, Eisler a little further back than I'm sure he'd like to be right now in 8th. And as soon as I say that, he jumps up to 5th.
Out there in his Ferrari. Teamed up with Benjamin Perez. Perez always fast, not doing a full schedule this season for Perez. Take a look at Brett Thurman, who had a lap going, but he's going to park his car behind the wall so we can't see him. Very shy, Brett Thurman, today. There's Brett. Joey Turngull. Joey Trungle having a nice run. Sitting 21st, hoping to do a little bit better. We didn't take a look at the weather. Maybe we can take a quick pick of that real quick before they do go racing. See how that plays out. Nick, what do you think?
Well, it's a little bit warmer than I think a lot of these drivers probably expected coming into Ohio today. 90 degrees on track and 81 ambient air temperature here and clear skies. So probably no cloud cover in sight. A little bit of wind. It looks like it might be gusting a little bit out of the southeast, but not too much of a factor there. Might be a little slick on track, though, especially through those S's.
Boy, it seems like ever since iRacing put in their dynamic skies, I've seen nothing but clouds in the sky. It's good to see an old-fashioned blue sky out there, what I'm used to racing under. For me personally, the dynamic skies have really messed up all of my braking points that I had figured out. I used to use, I used to use shadows. That's now no longer appropriate. We were looking there at, who was that we had on there? As well, we're looking at Justin Ream right now. My director's actually singing to me. Such a romantic director. I don't get that from Joe Peak or Amjad Yaman. It's good to be with you here. Don't worry, friends
it's
and
good
fans
to be the third wheel
of Joe. Friends and supporters of Joe Peak. He'll be back next week. You only have to put up with this nonsense for, well, just what we've got to hear about another hour and we'll be done. Nick's not done, though. Or, this is the only one you got tonight, though, Nick. But you're coming back tomorrow. You got 2 more to do tomorrow, don't you?
Absolutely. Especially if you like oval racing. We've got some great action tomorrow night on the docket.
Speaking of that, we had so many things to do. I forgot to tell you that this is coming your way thanks to the iRacing eSports Network. You know, the best in their world championships, as long as private leagues like the one you're watching right now, are spotlighted on iRacing eSports Network. If you haven't done so yet, become a subscriber. I'll tell you this, GSRC is proud to be part of the stable of broadcasters in the IESN stable. Gonna go ahead and look at Federico Montini. Remember right, I'm going to guess at some of these nations. I remember some of these drivers before. If I remember right, he may race out of either Chile, perhaps. I could get this one wrong, but we have a lot of South American drivers here.
Yeah, and it looks like that is, I believe, a new paint scheme for that team as well, the SDS Racing Blue team. Teaming up with Maxi Sorella, who sits further down in the points.
We're looking at Hefner right now. Little in-car camera shot. Give you an idea of what it's like to get around here today. Live as it happens.
I've seen a lot of drivers already here in qualifying get caught out by this tricky turn 1. Very fast there, and it looks like you can dive all the way to the bottom, but that's the pit exit. And you can see it clipping the grass on the way out there.
If home cooking means anything, it should be good for Zachary Hafner as he's racing from Ohio. Now we look at Vargas. Lucio's going to take a pit stop. Just a tick more seconds to go here in qualifying. We'll get done. We'll get down to the racing. Should be a good one. 27 drivers have put in time.
This series here has a tendency to have drivers put in their fastest times on their very last lap. I haven't seen too much of that tonight, though. Looks like not too much change on the grid.
And there you see Montini. There we go. I'm back. A little bit of a blink out there for a minute. Cristobal Valenzuela up into 14. That puts him right smack in the middle. 13 drivers ahead of him, 13 drivers behind him. Hugo Galaz sitting 18th right now, hoping to improve on that one. He's not going to be able to do it either. Checkered flag is out. Everyone just trying to put in these last laps of practice before they call it a day, and they'll be called to the grid.
Looks like Modov has one more lap to put in. He already has the pole here.
There's a little salt in the wound racing going on here. Not only am I the fastest, I'm the fastest by about 0.3 of a second. See if I can even do better than that. Coming out of 13, nothing but the finish line in front of him. He does not improve. And with that, we can go to the grid. And the front row is going to be filled up by Carl Modov and Abner Acosta. Row 2 is Sean Macbeth and the Iceman, Christian Eisler. Tyler McBuzzy, sorry, let's try this one again. Tyler DeZube behind him. McBuzzy sounds fun though too. Justin Ream in 6th. Andres Espinosa and Federico Montini. Dan Rivero and Pablo Valenzuela Uribe in the 10th spot. Nick?
Back in row 6, it is Corey Clark racing out of Georgia this evening, followed by Dan Rooney in the 77. Jean-Marc Tremblay, Cristobal Valenzuela, and Josh Daniels round out the top 15, with Zachary Hefner joining Josh Daniels there on row 8. Row 9 goes to Pete Mobrotten and Sebastian Maciera, with Brett Thurman and Rodrigo Munoz in the top 20.
Hidden Blackjack is Joey Trungal. Takashi Kita in the double duck spot. Lucio Vargas in 23rd. He's going to be followed by Tyler Yvette. The quarter century mark goes to James LeBlanc, Hugo Galles in the 26th spot. 27th is Mike Frey, the last car to put in a qualifying time. But Mike Victor is out there as we have 28 cars on the grid, a full 14 rows. The weather is good for racing. I hope you're all comfortable to enjoy 45 minutes of some sports car action. The question is, can Abner Acosta do what he did last time out and get the best of Carl Modov? To be honest with you, the guys who are chasing Modov in the points need not only Modov to lose, but they need him to lose substantially.
Yeah, Sean Macbeth has been chasing him all year, and he lines up right behind the 48 car this evening. He's definitely going to try to put the pressure on from the start, but he's got to get through Abner Acosta in that very challenging number 17 car as well, who sits in second off the grid.
The pole sitter waiting to take his spot on the grid wanted to make sure that the commentators got their GSRC commentators bonus for getting through the entire field before they started to roll. We'll have just about half a pace lap here. They are in the what they call the chute. They'll head through this down into the carousel. The right-hander come out of a little kink that is the left-hander back onto the finish, the front straight, and that's when Modov will put the gas pedal down and we'll get this thing going for sure. The pace car begins to roll, as do the competitors. Modov is on track left. He'll be on the outside around the carousel. He'll have the preferred position through that final little kink of 13, and then we'll go racing. Field gathered up behind him. Pace car is in. Modov gets on the gas even before they get to the finish line. Gather up the chicken steak covering on the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and look at Sean Macbeth. He is pressuring. He's going to get on the inside as he takes second. Acosta losing a spot. DeZube back in 4th position. Eisler trying to get in there as well. Great racing going on. Eisler ducks in deep.
Had some major issues back through the field we'll take a look at later involving Federico Montini. multi-car pile up before they even hit the start-finish line. But right now, it's Karl Modov sailing away down the backstretch.
They head through the speed trap into China Beach. Eisler able to pick up a spot, as did Macbeth. They race in second and fourth. Everybody gets through 5 okay. Now into the S's before they go to Thunder Valley. Pulling away is Modov. He's got himself almost a second lead through the chute, heading towards the carousel. Everybody's single file, not a single pass made between Thunder Valley and the carousel.
We talked about Sean Macbeth trying to be aggressive from the start, trying to get around Abner Acosta. He's done that, but if he wants to stay in this points battle, he's going to have to chase down Karl Modov. That was a bit of a gap there at the line, 0.7 of a second already up for the 48 car.
Mark that down on your clipboards, all you little soldiers and super clipboard army. We'll see if Macbeth can run down the man in front. Well behaved in the back. I think a pass made by Joshua Daniels as he's able to get around Daniel Rooney. Let's go back and look at 12th position real quick. This is Rooney and Zachary Hefter, the Ohio driver, looking at a little home cooking. Is he going to make a stab here? Oh, Rooney drifting out to driver left. Nothing going to happen as they head into China Beach. Right on board with Rooney. Looking back at the Buckeye. Single file all the way through the field. Who's going to make a pass? Well, let's go up to 9th position. Oh, we have a car in the grass. That's Corey Clark.
Corey Clark, teammates with Karl Modov, must have run into some problems here just before that. Looks like he did.
Yeah, made a mistake earlier, and then when he came back out onto the tarmac, he almost got a little bit of a bump from Tremblay. Okay, now watch this. Now keep going here because there's more after this. I'm not sure that Tremblay... Oh, I see Tremblay was off in the grass as well. Came across him with surprise. So a couple drivers having issues.
It was Justin Rame, the car he was following when that happened. You see him in the pits there. That other car in the pits there is Federico Montini, who had problems very early in the race.
That's a big name. Now, I got to point out that up front, Sean Macbeth has done what he needed. He's hanging with Modov, and actually, Nick, he's closed the gap a bit.
He has indeed.
They head down. Let's see if I can make out the Nick, can you tell the manufacturers of those two cars, of those those are Porsches up there, huh?
They are.
Yep, two Porsches.
Macbeth chasing Modov, the Porsche. Acosta back there with a BMW, and Christian Eisler top Ferrari. Pretty diverse top four right now.
Yeah, I have trouble telling the BMWs and Porsches apart. I got to figure those out so I can get them quickly. Those Ferraris are sure pretty. Down into the keyhole. Working lap number 4. They're coming up on Montini. Now, Montini took a pit stop. Watch him stay to driver right there and let everybody by, basically park in the car. Careful, that can almost be a little too slow.
Yeah, and you know, Montini's had a really rough last couple of weeks, especially not last week, but the 2 weeks before that. He had a lap 1 incident both of those races. He adds to that resume today. I believe we have a replay of that incident as well. Before they even got to the line, on their pace lap, ran into some problems when they were taking the green flag.
And as we look at that, when we come back, we can say there's a pass for the lead. We're going to miss it while we're in replay. Macbeth makes an easy pass on Modov. Boy, Modov is struggling, boys and girls. He is now, not only has Macbeth got by, and now here's the start, Nick.
Yeah, a little bit of help here, it looks like, from Pablo Valenzuela Uribe in the Ford.
Oh, my goodness. Take a look at it one more time from a ground view.
And you can see a couple cars getting involved in that. Looks like Pete Broaden had a lot of damage on the front of his BMW in that as well.
As we talk, in second position, Acosta side by side with Modov. Modov is really struggling. Acosta with the momentum. I think he's going to get this done. And another spot loss for Carl.
Yeah, he is really struggling, quite unlike him. He said last week in his post-race interview that he hadn't been to Mid-Ohio before in a GTE car, so that may be a little bit of an experience showing as Tyler DeZube has a big off behind him.
Battle continues there. We look at DeZube. Riding on board with Tyler now.
Tried to make a pass on Christian Eisler and found himself off in the grass just a little bit. Kept it from spinning or losing control, but now he's got Espinoza in his rear view mirror.
Let's go up to third position. Here comes Modov being passed. This is Eisler now, the Iceman getting around Cooley. Oh my goodness. Our leader is Sean Macbeth, but to quote Shakespeare, something is rotten in Denmark or here in Ohio. Karl Modov now back to fourth. We'll take a look at this and we'll watch the Iceman just power around.
Yeah, this is really unusual to see Modov just lose positions this easily.
I'm trying to think of a reason why that could have been. He was fast in qualifying. He's our pole sitter. So now he slots into fourth position. DeZube behind him. Espinoza, Rame, and Dan Ravito. Nick Big logjam back in ninth position.
Yeah, quite a bit. This is being led by Jean-Marc Tremblay right now. He's got the likes of Zach Hefner, Josh Daniels, and Pablo Uribe behind him. But right now, it looks like the main challenge here is Hefner trying to get around right in front of him, Tremblay.
There we go. All the local two-dimensional Ohio fans are cheering for Zachary Hefner. See if the hometown boy can get another position. Right on board with the Ohio driver, trying to find a way around.
He's going to take a peek to the inside, it looks like. And he's got it.
That gets it done.
He's moved up already from 16th to 9th now in this race, just in the first working lap 7 right now.
A little farther back is the battle for 13th position. This one has Valenzuela leading it. Maciera behind him. Broaden and Munoz. Brett Thurman actually in the mist as well as that 5-car train.
That's a
So
very...
Go ahead.
That's a very heavily damaged number 15 car there in 15th, Pete Mobrotten. Got some contact on lap 1. Looking a little more like a derby car.
A lot of straight line speed probably for that one. Tuck in behind somebody. See what can happen when we make our stops. 10 minutes into this race. Go back up front. Sean Macbeth. Now, try as he might to drive away from Abner Acosta, he has not been able to do that. Not the case for Acosta and Eisler. Eisler really struggling. He's about 2.3 seconds back.
Yeah, we watched last week at Road America. At least after they made their green flag pit stop, we saw Abner Acosta slowly reel in Karl Modov. A much different track here this week at Mid-Ohio. But we are seeing the same thing happen, slowly reeling in the leader.
Remember, this is sim racing and things happen at the... sometimes the your attention can be broken. I think Karl Modov had a phone call from a relative. I think he was multitasking because now he is back on pace again. I'm looking for excuses. Drop into this battle for 10th position. Here comes Joshua Daniels on the inside as they head down into the keyhole. Cialis bathtubs through the keyhole. Let's see if Tremblay can get some momentum, some drive off. He does not. The pass is made, and now he's in jeopardy of losing another spot to Uribe. Here comes Pablo. But fighting back now. On the outside is Tremblay. They're going to be too wide into China Beach. Careful. Stay out of the sand.
It's going to switch back in his favor. He just can't quite hold the line, though, up there with Daniels. Big run for Uribe through there, though.
Look up. Riding on board with Pablo. Looking up at Jean-Marc. Good run out of Thunder Valley. He's 2 car lengths back, but now Tremblay starts to pull away. It's the Porsche against the Ford.
The only
Look at that
Ford
beautiful Ford. Look at it get to the inside there. Stealthy Ford, isn't it?
He's making a proud name for all the Ford lovers out there. The only Ford in the field as well tonight and this season.
That's right. He's going to have to wait a little bit, but the car just looks fast even when it's parked. Eisler in 3rd. Karl Modov has put down the phone. He said goodbye to Aunt Mary and is now back on the hunt. Here he comes. Oh, careful there. Oh, my goodness. On him tighter than a scuba suit on a fat man is Karl Modov.
Little pushing and shoving on the beach through there.
Oh, look at this. Oh, no! Oh, I thought he was going to lose it, but he saves it because he's Karl Modov. A lesser driver would have been in the grass.
And he not only saves it, he really does stay with Eisler as well. Doesn't lose a whole lot of time to him.
All this going on about almost 3 seconds behind Abner Acosta, who races in 2nd. Eisler, a veteran of this series. Modov, also very well known. Boy, he gets a good run out of 1. I don't think the keyhole is a passing zone. Boy, he's right up behind him. Let's stay on this so we get the long drive through the speed trap now. Let's see what type of drive Modov can get. It's the Porsche against the Ferrari. Boy, Modov pulls out. There is no straight line speed there. He's going to have to force it. This is where he got a little loose last time. Right up behind Eisler. Another good drive, looking for a hole now, trying to poke his nose in there, Nick.
Through the S's they go. He took a peek to the inside, but Eisler really decisive on his racing line through there. It's really throwing Karl Modov off and not giving him too many opportunities to pass either.
Oh, we've had an issue with Dzube. We're going to get it on replay.
Yeah, right behind him. Looks like he got washed up in China Beach.
Now we come from above. Nick, you see that battle up ahead? That is the Eisler Modov battle. Boy, my goodness, where are you going? That is not the racing line you usually take. All right, now there is the battle for the lead. Acosta doing his very best to try to run down Macbeth, but really the action is still back in 3rd position. You see those 2 drivers coming around. There they are at the top of your screen. That is Eisler and Modov. Modov just a half car length back, closer than Acosta. The question is, can Modov find a way around? He's clearly faster, just not sure the car is faster in the areas like on the straights where he needs to pass. That Ferrari gets going, baby.
Yeah, it's got a lot of acceleration there, Eisler does. That is what is hurting Modoff right now. He just can't get those big runs, and he can't get any slipstream off the rear end of that Ferrari either.
Andres Espinosa vultures his way up into 5th. We've been watching this battle. We're going to steal you away from this one. We're going to go back and look at this battle for 6th. This is Dan Rehm being chased by Dan Rivetto. Passing so difficult here. Nobody seems to... They have to work at it. You have to set it up for not just 1 lap, but 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing you want to do is put the bumper to someone, but oftentimes it's what we see happen here.
Again, no moves there from those guys. You got a Ferrari, a Porsche, and another Porsche. I've been watching this Eisler battle up for 3rd as he opens up a little bit. If Modoff can get it by him, he's got a chance to run down the leaders. The car is faster. Modoff's much faster through the technical sections, but Eisler just gets the power down out of the corner, and then that Italian race car just takes off. Good racing going on as we are now working in minute 27. Now, a little short of halfway. We're going to leave that one a little bit because those guys have decided they're not going to make the pass. Let's go to 11th position. Valenzuela being chased by Merciera.
Both of these guys, big movers from the start, especially Merciera going from 18th up to 12th where he sits now. He's got a ways to go, though, up to Cristobal Valenzuela. A little bit of a gap between them.
They got to get going because Tyler DeZube's got his car back out on the track. I think it's in fine shape. He didn't hit anything. He'll be running down. There's a smorgasbord of positions for him to pick up.
And another thing to keep in mind for these drivers as well is we are getting close to that pit window. We don't see too many drivers, at least in the front half of the field, usually pit this early, but we are getting close to that window, and with passing so difficult here, we might just see a couple oddball strategies.
Nick, we're looking now as we go to, there we go, Guillemette and Takashi Kita. Nick, I haven't covered this series. Can you save fuel and do an undercut? Is fuel that important if you ride behind somebody for a while?
We've definitely seen it before in this series. We've seen it a lot this season as well with all of the long, drafty tracks we're at. Here at Mid-Ohio, though, it's not a very thirsty track, and the driver is just so fast and so precise. They're really going to have to be on their game today in the pit lane if they want to make that work, I think.
It has really been a case of follow the leader. Even with 4 different makes out here, you would think that we'd see passing more prevalent. Right now, they are struggling. We look at Valenzuela and Macia. This is the battle for 11th spot.
We were watching this just a moment ago. Merciera has caught him.
I think he's going to force it. Let's see if he does it under braking. He's going to dive it down, stick it down in there. Sometimes you got to force the issue. When opportunity knocks, you got to answer the door. He couldn't get it done. He's working on the outside. He's going to have to wait. Valiant effort.
A little bit of hesitation there through the second left-hander through the S's. He almost lost that spot to Jean-Marc Tremblay, who closed up right behind him as well through there. He's got to be careful.
Boy, if I'm some of these drivers, if I'm Karl Modoff, for example, who I think of faster, I'm pitting I'm not sure why he doesn't pit now. He's in the window. Come on in, unless he's worried about getting stuck in traffic. I guess it's hard to hot lap if you have to go around slower cars. Maybe that's what's preventing him from coming in. He's clearly faster than Eisler. Boy, this is the closest. This is the closest he has been yet. Boy, he's scooting up in his chair. He's using his Flintstone feet to try to get that car to go. And now he's going to have to try it under braking. He gets it down in there, and he got it done.
Eisler finally gives him enough room there through the exit of China Beach, up through the S's.
Now what he needs to do is be quick. He needs to really make hay while the sun shines, and the sun shines for him in this twisty section. If he can put up a little bit of a gap, which is what he's doing, protect himself about the straight line speed that Ferrari has, I think he's in pretty good shape. But all that nonsense behind Eisler has now moved him 3.5 seconds behind the front two drivers. And there they are. That is Macbeth and Acosta. I think this is all going to come down to the pit stops for these guys. If saving fuel means anything, Acosta will have the advantage as he's been chasing Macbeth the entire race.
You mentioned drivers like Karl Modoff maybe doing a little bit of an undercut strategy. I might be seeing that from Abner Acosta as well. Might see him come in a little earlier than Macbeth.
I'm going to give you this interval time. 3.3 seconds from Acosta back to Modoff. Let's see what he can do. We are just getting to the halfway point now.
Karl Modoff already pulling away from Eisler, so yeah, I expect that gap to go away. But how fast?
Let's leave this one and jump back to 5th position again. This is a nice 4-car train. Espinosa, Ream, Revito, and Hafner. Hafner started in 16th, has cut that in half as he races in 8th. The rest of these guys racing pretty much where they started, up maybe a point or two.
This is a Speedworks racing team party back here.
Yes, indeed. All the same team, different manufacturers. That's a nice shot as they leave us. Going away like cowboys into the sunset.
Cowboys in Ohio.
Oh, come on. Ah, here's our first taker.
That's another one of the Cowboys.
Jean-Marc Tremblay. In for fuel only. A drink of French champagne and then back out on the track. He comes out. Now look at this. Abner Acosta has started to even close up the gap a little bit more. But remember that interval I told you? It was 3.2 back to Modoff. How about 2.6? He has left Eisler behind. The Iceman leaveth.
Yeah, Acosta might just get this pass done before he has the opportunity to use the undercut. It might be Macbeth trying to undercut him right back. If he can't hold him off, that is.
Yeah, well, Macbeth, when he looks at his timing and scoring, he sees Acosta right behind him. Macbeth needs to look a little bit deeper down the list there, because that's what Acosta feels is the hot breath of Karl Modoff on the back of his neck as he is a-coming.
Last thing Macbeth wanted to see as well, fighting for the championship. He was very content having Modoff back and forth.
Oh, yeah, that Eisler cushion was helping out a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Modoff closing in as we go on board with him.
2.5 seconds. So the one guy who pitted was Tremblay. We'll see how that plays out. You're right, look at that, really shows you the speed. Love that roadkill cam. Boy, the battle for 5th position continues. I would be excited if they weren't all teammates, Nick, but I mean, there they are.
Yeah, they'll probably play pretty nice with each other.
They're probably just cousin teammates, though, because there's like a north one in there and an east one and a west one. Second pitter, Brett Thurman coming in.
Another one of those SRT teammates.
I imagine Tremblay will roll around before Thurman gets out. All right, let's take a look here at this battle for what is 9th position. These guys are behind that 4-car battle we've been watching. Pablo Uribe trying to run down Joshua Daniels. Not that far back is Cristobal Valenzuela.
Daniels has not lost a lot of positions in this race. He's been doing a lot of passing back from 15th. Uribe hasn't moved much, but he's looking for this spot.
Nobody pits this time up front. Let's see if one of these guys come in. Nope. No takers. We're right on board with Pablo. Watches, follows behind Joshua. It will be fun to see how pit stops change this up a bit, especially in that battle for 5th. Just mark this down, folks. It's Espinosa, Ream, Revito, and Hefner. Those are your drivers for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th with the pit stop to come. The gap between Acosta and Modoff, now 1.5 seconds. I'm telling you, blame it on Aunt Mary. Once he hung up the phone, he is back in business.
Thankfully for Carl, Aunt Mary's bedtime is early. He was able to end that phone call early.
Keep looking at this battle up front. Love this low angle shot. You can see the sun bouncing off the track. Time of day, late evening, just about supper time here in Ohio. Rodrigo Munoz making a stop. Tremblay still the leader of all the cars who have pitted, and I think Tremblay will be able to get around Munoz. He does indeed. When will our leaders pit? With 16 minutes of racing to go. Well, the time to pit might be now as they start to come up on the back of lap traffic.
Absolutely, and Abner Acosta just went off the track a little bit. Well, Modoff's in.
He's in. He saw the traffic. He's listening to the broadcast. He comes on in. None of those 4 drivers we were watching, Espinosa, Ream, Revito, and Hafner all stay out. Modoff finds his spot. Eisler stayed out. Now it's all about track for Modoff, and as he comes out, he's got clear track ahead of him if he can get going. Here comes Joshua Daniels and Pablo Uribe, but he's going to get out in front of them. Nobody in front of our points leader now. He can race full song.
This is a perfect scenario for him. Acosta continuing to struggle, handling-wise, trying to chase down Macbeth still. That gap opened up quite a bit.
They work through Thunder Valley now. Macbeth has clear track ahead of him. He won't be a while. It'll be a while till he comes up on lap traffic, but I think he'll be coming in. Now there's no tires with only 15 minutes of racing to go. Nobody took tires. He's going to stay out. Let's see if Eisler stays out. Eisler stays out as well. Let's drop back to 4th position. Let's see if any of these guys are coming in. Espinosa? No. Ram? No. Revito? No. Hafner? No. Team orders. We look at Uribe. Hey, he finally got that pass made. We'll take a look at Uribe as he gets around Daniels. Did it on the outside. We took it in deep there. He got it done. Driver left. Nice job.
Yeah, use that momentum to his advantage. You mentioned, Bill, very early in the broadcast, just how many laps it sometimes takes to set up a pass there. Case in point there with Pablo Uribe. He's been working at that one for quite some time, but he gets it done.
Okay, we got 14 minutes of racing to go. Our leaders are heading up through the chute. We wait for them to make their stop. He is going around again, as does Acosta, as does Eisler. It's going to be splash and go. So right now, Macbeth and Acosta are racing a driver who's on the other side of the track. Let's give you an interval between those two. 22 seconds. That's the bogey time. Boy, that does not seem like a lot.
Yeah, that is not, and that gap is only going to continue to shrink, it looks like, because Modov is not only fast, but like you said earlier, he's got some clean track ahead of him. All the way up to James LeBlanc, a straightaway ahead is his next car to pass, and that should be no problem for him.
This is what my dad used to call the early peel, late reveal. Somebody peels off early, and what's revealed at the end is he's in front. Modov back 4 seconds ahead of Uribe, 7 seconds to get up to the next driver for a position, although James LeBlanc is a lap down. That may be an issue. Go back and we look at this battle for fourth. Espinosa, Rame, Ravito. And then there's Hafner in there as well. One pit.
Espinosa then.
Hey, somebody didn't get the news. Maybe it's because he's in the only Ferrari that's out there. All right, so Espinosa pits from the lead of that train. This is all about Macbeth and Acosta coming in, taking the splash and go, and getting out before Modov. They work through China Beach into 5. Now into the S's. Right, left, right. To Thunder Valley, a sweeping right-hander. Then back on the throttle as they head to the chute. They have lap cars in front of them. I don't think they're going to get there this lap. Hugo Galaz and Mike Richter. They will get their next lap. Sean Macbeth, if you're going to pit, now's the time.
There they go.
There he goes.
Takes Acosta with him. Eisler stays out. That's going to put him up to the lead.
Wow, look at that. Now, the question is, where's Modov? He is going into the carousel right now. Will Acosta be faster in pit lane than Macbeth because he followed him all that time? So many things to think about. Both Macbeth and Acosta in their stall. Look at this. Out first is Macbeth. There goes Acosta. Where is Modov? Here he comes, and he's closer than before the pit stop.
He's got a full head of steam as well, as Acosta and Macbeth continue to make their way up to speed, but it looks like Modov has at least caught Acosta, but that's about it.
Modov now, we ride on board looking ahead at Acosta and Macbeth. Joey Trungle, oh my goodness, they're coming, baby. You're in 25th. You're 1 lap down. Have you pitted already? You have. Find somewhere to hide, Joey. Acosta, Modov. Eisler's going to be making his stop.
No, not yet.
He does not. So with that, let's see how the leaders work on this lap traffic. Let's go back to Macbeth. Coming up behind Trungle. Going to catch him in a good spot. Going to catch him on the straight. He hooks the car over on the left. There goes 1. There goes 2, and there goes 3. Nicely done, Joey.
I haven't seen Acosta or Modoff really be able to close in all that much after these pit stops. This might be when Sean Macbeth ends this long drought and finally gets his first win of the season.
Boy, he looks good. Now, the next cars that they're going to be coming up on are Dan Revito and Zachary Hafner, but they're not going to be there. But it will be fun to see how Hafner and Revito fare in relationship to the guys they were racing with who took that pit stop earlier. Revito just really butchered the corner there through 5. Hafner's right there. It's got to be pit stop time for these guys. As they head to the chute. Oh my goodness. And behind them, Macbeth is really, Acosta was right behind him.
I can report as well, Eisler has chosen to stay out for yet another lap.
Gonna one-stop it. Okay, Revito is in. Hafner stays out. He's the longest running driver of that group. Macbeth comes across the line 0.3 of a second ahead of Acosta. Modoff, try as he might, is not making up any time. Uribe finally makes his stop. All right, Uribe is in. Now, coming out of the pits, Revito is in 9th, Ream is in 8th, Espinoza is in 7th, and Hafner is long gone. He's left. He got left behind, right? I can't even find him. Where is Hafner? Oh, he stayed out. Well, that's why. Of course, Hafner still needs to make a stop. That's why he couldn't find him. My goodness, with only 7 minutes to go. Can Eisler go the distance? No, he has to come in. Eisler is in. Hafner will be in as well. So it'll be fun to see how Hafner comes out in relationship to the guys he was racing with. Going by Macbeth, Acosta, and Modoff. They will get 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We expect Eisler to start rolling in 4th. He does. Let's go ahead and pick up Hafner now. Is he going to try to get out before the train of 3? I don't think he's going to make it. There goes Espinosa. There goes Ream. He's going to come out right next to Revito. Side by side. But Dan's got the momentum. Pretty much everybody goes right back where they were before the stop.
I'll tell you what, though, Soup, the last couple laps, as we've been watching these pit stops cycle through, Abner Acosta has really begun to put the pressure on the leader, Sean Macbeth. This thing is not over yet. Acosta's really going for 2 in a row.
Absolutely. We look at the pass on screen. Was that Hafner I saw doing that? Is that who that was? Yes, Hafner. Getting around Revito. So he couldn't do it with the pit stop. He had to do it the old-fashioned way on the track. So with Hafner now moving up 1 more spot, we can focus our attention back up front. That lapped car is Mike Richter. Does a good job of getting out of the way. Modoff gets around him as well.
Woodall falling off of these two as we right on board with Sean Macbeth, taking a peek back at Acosta. You can see him there creeping up on him.
23 drivers still on the lead lap. A Porsche, a BMW, and then another Porsche. Then the Ferrari of Eisler, who's well off the pace.
You know, I just mentioned Modoff falling back a little bit. If Acosta keeps putting this much pressure on Macbeth, Modoff might be in the perfect shape right now. Sitting back there waiting for something to happen or unfold in front of him. Things
have settled down for that battle for 5th. They're well behaved. to be honest with you, one of the best battles on the track is right up front. So with apologies to the rest of the field for these final 4 minutes and 21 seconds, we're going to spend most of our time watching Sean Macbeth try to hold off Abner Acosta, with your points leader lurking in the back of Karl Modoff. Looking over the passenger side rear view mirror. Oh boy, a good run through that corner, through the keyhole, but no momentum down the back straight.
Acosta using all of the curbing there through the inside of the keyhole. Try to close in on him. Try to get that big run down into China Beach.
And closing in even closer is your points leader. Now back by only, let's say, car lengths. I'm going to say 4 car lengths back. 5 car lengths behind Acosta is Modoff. Modoff 2 car lengths behind Macbeth. They work up the chute into the carousel. Haven't seen many passes down into 1. We have seen some into the keyhole. They're coming up on the lapped car of Lucio Vargas. They should get to him pretty quick. When they open it up, Modoff falls off a bit. Again, straight line speed seems to be the Achilles heel for Modoff. All right, they come up now within yelling distance of Vargas. Will they get to Vargas before they get down to China Beach? I don't think so. Unless Lucio decides to pull it over and park it. He is not. He's going to take it in at a normal clip. We're going to ride on board with the driver in 21st position. The last car on the lead lap. Looking back at the hounds.
You can see Acosta peeking to the inside there. Peeking a little more.
Really good through the technical section is Acosta. He's going to have to force the issue at a place where you wouldn't think a pass is made. Boy, he's only a half car length back, but look at the drive out of Thunder Valley by Macbeth. Here they come up on Vargas. They're going to catch him through the carousel. That's going to slow down Macbeth, I think. Yes, it does. He turns him. You can feel it coming. Get out of my way. I'm in the lead. And as that goes on, he's able to protect the lead is Macbeth. That was no time to waste. What that did was allow Modoff to get in the mix as well. We're going to see this quick, and then we'll come back live because the action is happening on screen. There's the action. Now we come back live. It is now a 3-car battle. Acosta got right on the back of Macbeth. Did Macbeth's front end pick up any damage from that? Does he still have the straight line speed? We'll find out as we get to 1 minute of racing to go. He seems to be good right now. Modoff took advantage, was right in behind these guys, but again, once they got out of the keyhole, he could not keep that car going straight line and stay with them.
He looks clean. The front part of his car looks completely clean after that incident. I think he got away with one there.
No more lap traffic, which will play a factor. They're going to get the white flag this time by. If Abner Acosta has a favorite passing opportunity, he's going to have to try it this lap.
Oh, he dives in real deep there.
Of each apple. Here we go. White flag for Macbeth. Acosta too far back to do anything right now. Modoff lost touch. It's a 2-car chase.
I fear that Acosta, through the carousel there, overdrove it just a little bit. He's really going to have to be strong through the keyhole.
Eisler is comfortable in 4th. There are no battles back behind. This is where the action is. This is where our attention will stay. Through the speed trap. Abner has got to take it in here and dive it in deeper than Confucius in a submarine if he wants any chance. Now this is where he's good. He'll start to gather him up. Where can he make a pass? Maybe on the outside of 9? He's 2 car lengths back. Through the twisty section, now to the right-hander that is Thunder Valley. This is where Macbeth has been very good getting power out of 9, and he does again. More laps, my kingdom for more laps is what Acosta is saying right now. Sean Macbeth out of the carousel through 13. Round number 8 goes to Sean Macbeth. Abner Acosta gets second. Karl Moldoff will have to settle for third. That battle for 5th, Nick.
Espinosa continuing to hold off Justin Rame, the teammates back here with Speedworks Racing Team. Out of the last turn, it's the Ferrari holding on to that spot, and the 87 car of Andres Espinosa takes the final top 5 spot.
Abner gets 7th, 8th place to his teammate. Go back to this battle for 9th. This is Cristobal Venezuela and Tremblay. That's going to go in that order. Joshua Daniels holds off Tyler DeZube. DeZube started in 5th. Will have to settle for a baker's dozen finish. Let me correct myself. DeZube gets 12th. Uribe will get 13th. 20 cars on the lead lap. The last 2 being these drivers right here. Thurman trying to hold off Rodrigo Munoz. Does not do it. Thurman gets 18th. Munoz gets 19th. I believe Corey Clark will get credit for finishing on the lead lap as he comes across in 20th. Well, there you have it. That was darn exciting. The racing is over here in Ohio, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Streaming cyberspace into your place on the iRacing eSports Network. From Mid-Ohio, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 8 coverage of the PRL GTE Sports Car Series. Season 16, round number 8. The results are in the books. Let's give those to you right now. Oh, it's been a long time coming, but he finally got it. A win for Sean Macbeth as he comes home ahead of Abner Acosta. Acosta gave him everything he could ask for, but could not find his way around. Karl Moldoff was out in front early, slowed down about the 4th or 5th lap, lost touch, then ran his way back into that final podium position. The Iceman, Christian Eisler, is in 4th. Andres Espinosa rounds out your top 5. The back half of your top 10, Justin Ream, hometown drivers Zachary Hafner, Dan Revito, and Cristobal Valenzuela. Oh, one more. I got John Mark Tremblay in 10th. Okay, Nick.
There you go. He's going to come in right in front of Josh Daniels, 3 seconds back in 11th place, who had a close fight to the finish with Tyler DeZube. After starting 5th, a rough day for Tyler DeZube here in the Buckeye State. He falls to 12th. Pablo Valenzuela Uribe, another eventful day for him. He's going to land in the Baker's Dozen spot. Dan Rooney, Sebastian Massier are going to follow in 14th and 15th. Tyler Gilmet, Takeshi Kita, Brett Thurman, Rodrigo Munoz, and Corey Clark will round out the top 20. Also the last cars to finish on the lead lap.
Tip the hat to the drivers when they can organize themselves to get all the cars on the lead lap. When we go to our next graphic, we go to the cars that are one lap down. Lucio Vargas behind him. Joey Trungle did a good job getting out of the way of traffic. He comes home in 22nd, one lap down. Hugo Galles and James LeBlanc. LeBlanc surprisingly far down for him. I expect him to do better. Mark Richter in 25th position. Then the guys who ran into trouble. That would be Mike Clay, Pete Broaden, and Federico Montini. Montini really got in trouble early. Disappointing race from him. With that, we can go ahead to our interviews now. And it looks like I have the pleasure of being able to talk to our race winner, as it is Sean Macbeth. Sean, congratulations. Soup here. Way to go. A long time coming for that win.
Yeah, thanks, Soup. It has been a while. It's a real good sense of accomplishment. It's like, finally, I got one. But, yeah, good race, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a real challenge, that's for sure.
Do you have any guess as to what happened to Modoff there while you guys were able to get around him? Was he off pace? Could you tell he was struggling?
At first, I didn't realize, I thought something might be going on. The lap I passed him, thought maybe hardware issues or something. But I guess one of my teammates was saying something about him getting a cone stuck or something, which I know has happened this week to multiple people, which is real unfortunate. But I don't know. But it was really weird when it happened.
Well, let's talk about the guy who was chasing you. My goodness. Abner
man.
Acosta, man, he was on you. One mistake from you, and he was going to pounce.
He was my shadow the whole time. I had to keep it so tight, or else you're right, he would have gotten around me so fast. Abner was quick, and if I didn't get past him at the start, then he probably would have drove away from me for sure. That car, that BMW he was in, was quick.
Yeah, let's talk about manufacturers. You drive the Porsche. Whoops. I'm sorry. We'll try this one more time. If you got me, you drive the Porsche. Why is that your car of choice?
I think it fits my driving style more than the others. I like a real aggressive front end, which the Porsche has, and the back end to me feels really planted. So it's just the two combinations together seem to work really well for my driving style, and also can't get over that scream too from that engine. That thing is just amazing to listen to lap after.
I like it for the sound. Hey, congratulations on the win. You're not out of the hunt yet. There's still time if Modoff has some more problems. Good luck on this championship. Run them down.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I want to thank the team and for all their help and all their hard work. And looking forward to the next one. See if we can carry the momentum.
All right, congratulations, Sean Macbeth, our winner. Nick, who you got?
I've got our second place finisher, Abner Acosta. And Abner, Sean just said that you were his shadow for that entire race. He almost had two in a row there.
Yeah, I was trying really hard. I was just waiting for him to make a mistake, just like on my last race where Modoff made one, and it just never happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to steal one there at the end last week at Road America. We were watching all of the pit cycles through. Speaking of Road America, it's a much different track than this week. This one it doesn't require as much fuel conservation, but regardless, we saw a couple different pit strategies. Did you think you were going to be able to undercut Macbeth? You came in at the same time.
Yeah, I actually, once I noticed we both have sort of the same pace, and Modoff was really far back, I tried to save some, and I think on the pit stop, I put 0.4 too much gas, and I think that would have maybe put me ahead of him, and it would have been a better battle, but that didn't.
Yeah, we just asked Sean about him driving the Porsche. I'm curious. We've seen a lot of parity throughout the year in manufacturers. A little less of that today. It looked like each car had its advantages and disadvantages. And the BMW, did that help you today or hurt you? You think to drive that around?
I personally think the Porsche is faster in this track. I felt like I was faster than Sean in most of the track, but in the last sector, he was just killing me every time. Like everything I would make up, he was just gaining it in that last sector.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how your car stacks up against everyone else and how you stack up against everyone else, because we've only got 2 races left, and sure to see you at the top of the board if you keep putting up results like this.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
And there you have it. Our second place finisher. A great run today from Abner Acosta. Okay, that's going to do it for us here in the Global Sim Racing channel. Oh, we have Carl Modoff. One more to do. Sorry, I got to read the screen here. Carl!
What's up, guys?
Okay, it's Soup here. What happened early on? I was thinking you got a telephone call. Why were you off pace there for a few laps?
Well, I had no idea, to be honest. I felt like I had 2 front flat tires, and I was losing, a second down the straightaway. I didn't know why, and then my teammate Corey told me that it's possibly a cone stuck under your tire. So I guess on lap 3, I watched the replay. I kind of clipped the cones with the right side of my car, and one of them got stuck under my wheel. So took 4 or 5 laps before I was bitching, to him about that. And he finally told me that was possible, so I started running into cones down the straightaway, and I lodged it free. And then I was able to get the pace back. But yeah, super frustrating because it's such a hard track to pass on. Made it interesting, I guess. And I was sweating over here, so now I need to go drink some water.
All right, so now we know what really happened. A little bit of conocide you had to commit there to get that thing fixed. I think you're comfortable in the points with drop races. You still feeling pretty secure about the championship?
Yeah, I hope so. The next round, the Road Atlanta, I really like that track. So hopefully, I think the Ferraris will be really hard to beat, but with Sean driving the same car as me, it'll be head-to-head kind of. And, yeah, I think I'm pretty strong with the next 2 tracks, so looking forward to it. I feel pretty comfortable, but, today I felt really comfortable in Mid-Ohio, and then I had a cone get stuck under my car. And I actually had a second one get stuck under my car on the second to last lap when we all got really tied up behind the lap car. I got a second one stuck, so just one of those things. You never know. It didn't happen at all week testing, and now in the race it happened. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, because that could definitely mix it up, and I'm definitely going to watch out for those cones in the future.
I've done a lot of GSRC broadcasts. I'll be honest with you. That's the first time I've heard that happen on a race. Hey, nevertheless, you made lemonades out of lemons. You got yourself a 3rd place finish. Good luck at Road Atlanta.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast. Take care.
Carl Modoff. Okay, now if I check on here, I believe we are done now. So now I can wrap this up. I'm glad we got to talk to Carl to find out what really happened there. So we got to thank our sponsors, Simulation Motorsports Association, that's SIMMSA.net. And how about Frazier and Deeter? You can check them out at frazieranddeeter.com. IESN, of course, who we stream cyberspace into your place. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed on your screen. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen to how to get hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today. That would be Nick, Sean, and Dougie. And fear not, fans, Joe Peak, the voice of the series, will be back next round. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including a complete list of upcoming broadcasts, globalsimracingchannel.com, or check us out on social media at Twitter, GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. Next race, that's going to be, we talked about it, Road Atlanta. That should be fun. That's going to be Tuesday, May 14th, 9 p.m. Eastern is our start time. We'd also have upcoming races for other series listed on your screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. So until next time, I'd like to thank you all for watching as Sean Macbeth gets the first win of the season here at Mid-Ohio. Race hard, race clean. We'll see you on the track.